The list of channels I would actively tell people to stay away from used to be very small. However, thanks to the past couple of years, that list is rapidly increasing, and today we'll be taking a look at one of those channels who has repeatedly and without failure spread false information, lied to his audience on multiple occasions, and straight up made up some wild ass stories just to get content out. And my first example of this is Dreamcastguy claiming he met an actual Fallout 76 developer randomly in a bar and got told a bunch of stuff about the game before it came out.
Everybody is in this one little city, so because of it, when you're out and about, there's a good chance that you'll come across somebody in the game's business. Well, just by pure happenstance, I actually had that 1 month ago. I happened to run into a bunch of hype developers of Fallout 76.
Stop the cap! Stop the cap right now! Stop the cap! No bullshit, bro!
Now, what I find the most strange about this is the fact he decided to wait until after the game came out to talk about what these supposed developers told him, even though the dev in Dreamcastguy's own words warned him about the terrible and disgusting launch of Fallout 76.
They told me straight up that their main priority was just getting it out the door. It didn't matter what it looked like, what the graphics were, didn't matter if it had bad frame rate.
Considering how he says he met these developers a month before the game came out, it makes it incredibly curious how he manages to go into so much detail to the point of the video being 11 minutes long. And one thing you'll see repeated in videos like this from Dreamcastguy is him just stating the obvious and pretending like he leaked something.
They said that basically they had a huge squad of QA testers who were just playing Fallout 76 inside the base all day long. They're basically at the studio playing, and just basically handing in feedback here and there.
A tactic you'll commonly see YouTubers use to bring credibility to their fake leaks or fake insider information. Put something undeniably true in it so that it makes the rest seem more credible, even though the rest is absolutely ludicrous. But nothing could get more ironic than when he claimed he verified the identities of the people he spoke to.
Art department, somebody who seemed like a made-up programmer, and a couple of them were really high-up QA testers.
Because it leads us right onto the next topic, Dreamcastguy's PS5 leak video, which he unlisted due to the fact people were calling him out on his BS this time, where he claims he fact-checked the leaker's identity.
Well, last night, I was actually contacted by a PlayStation employee who's currently playtesting the PS5, and they revealed a lot of very interesting details to me that I want to actually talk to you about today. What's up, gamers? Dreamcastguy here, and before we get into this, I want to just say, please consider this all as rumors right now. I was able to confirm this person's identity pretty concretely, and it seems like it's all completely legit.
Which he obviously didn't do, as he unlisted the video to hide it. Him saying to take it as a rumor is also such a lazy attempt to get a free get out of jail card. You can't say to take something as a rumor and then say you verified the employee's identity, as well as later saying that they confirmed certain things. And it's not like it was exactly hard to figure out that the quote-unquote leaker was hardcore bullshitting, since the guy unironically tried to claim the PS5 would use Nvidia tech.
This is perhaps where the information gets the most confusing from public notes, other leaks, and what this means right now. So something we've actually seen in the news here and there is the fact that Mark Cerny, he's actually the guy who's the head of the PlayStation 4 development and now the head of the basically the engineering and development team of the PlayStation 5. Mark Cerny has actually talked about AMD Navi processors, working with Navi architecture. Basically, this is like the style of stuff that's going to be inside the next console.
Well, this was not said at all by my source. I heard about things like possibly an AMD Radeon processor. I've heard a lot of stuff about different CPUs and GPUs being put in this, but the main console he was talking to me about actually had Nvidia tech in it.
Let that sink in for a second. This man thought that the guy he was speaking to was an actual PlayStation employee, even after they tried to claim the PS5 would use an Nvidia GPU. Dreamcastguy couldn't make it more obvious that he will simply put out a video that he doesn't even fully believe in, just for easy and quick cash/views. He will run with almost any story so long as he thinks his audience is dumb enough to eat it up. Not only that, but this guy tried to claim that the PS5 was already running games at 8K in the video.
Well, according to my source, some of the games they're testing right now, well, a lot of them are very, very early on, of course. There's not a complete PS5 game, but some of the stuff that they're actually running on there is actually hitting native 8K.
Something even an RTX 3090 struggles to do, and something even the 2080 Ti, aka the most powerful card at the time, was nowhere near to achieving. Now remember what I said about him stating the obvious and then pretending like he leaked something? Well, once again, he did it in this video.
This is partially assisted by the fact that the PS5 apparently has 16 gigabytes of RAM inside it. This is again not super shocking. Something that was said again and again during my talks with this person is that cost was definitely on the table. It seems like they're trying to do everything as cheaply as possible, and also it seems like they're trying to cut a lot of special deals with a lot of these companies to make sure when they get the parts, they can get them for just pennies, to try and get them for the lowest cost. Now, something else is, something I've actually heard about and speculated on in previous videos is the idea of a solid-state drive being inside it, an SSD. Well, this has now been confirmed by my source.
If anyone in 2019 was doubting the PS5 would use a fucking SSD, you're a complete moron. Plus, the same goes for the quote-unquote concrete leaker, quote-unquote confirming things about the PS5 having 16 gigabytes of RAM. Anyone with two functioning brain cells would have figured that out. The PS5 sure as hell wouldn't run most new games if it didn't have 16 gigs of RAM. Even in 2019, people would have been fully aware of that. And that's exactly why Dreamcastguy put that in. If you put some undeniably true things into your fake news, then it makes the rest more credible to your average viewer. And as per usual with this guy, it wasn't the first or the last time that he ran with obvious bullshit he 100% knew was fake news. Before the terrible original Sonic movie trailer came out, he claimed he had seen the trailer beforehand from a leaker.
What's up, gamers? Dreamcastguy here, talking today about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie trailer, because it seems like everybody is super excited about this and really generally wants any single details they can get about this mysterious film. And what's funny is I happened to be leaked the entire trailer just a couple weeks ago.
But then when the trailer did come out, it was obviously proven wrong and he trashed the trailer like everyone else did. I'm sorry, but how fucking desperate do you have to be for easy views and quick cash to the point you'll unironically spread fake news surrounding the Sonic movie? This man has historically not given a single fuck about research at all, and it amazes me that more people haven't realized this. I mean, the guy made stuff up about the Sonic movie out of desperation for a video topic. It's incredibly hard to get more down bad for views than that. However, if there's one situation which undeniably proves Dreamcastguy's continued dishonesty and continued pattern of spreading fake news, it's his video celebrating Halo Infinite on Xbox One being cancelled. Most of you are probably sat here wondering what the fuck he was on about, and rightfully so. I did call him out on this in the past, but since it is highly relevant to the video, I wanted to include it. Dreamcastguy claims Halo Infinite on the Xbox One could be cancelled in the video. The only problem is that the video was uploaded hours after 343 had confirmed that not to be the case.
What's up, gamers? Dreamcastguy here, and it sounds like the Xbox One version of Halo Infinite may have just been cancelled officially.
No, it doesn't. Your entire video is speculation based on a job listing, even though job listings are very specific and it hints at absolutely nothing you say it does. Plus, the most hilarious thing is that on the same day that Dreamcastguy uploaded his video, it was already confirmed that the game was not cancelled for last-gen Xbox consoles. I will never understand why YouTubers like Dreamcastguy are so incapable of doing any research. It took me literally 2 seconds to find that article where it proves the Xbox One version is in fact not cancelled. But hey, I guess it is harder to fearmonger, clickbait, and straight up lie to your fans if you don't do the bare minimum when it comes to researching a topic you are speaking about.
I don't care how big or small your channel is. If you are uploading videos to YouTube regarding news-like content, you need to be fact-checking everything. Which I know Dreamcastguy claims he does, but he evidently doesn't do that in the slightest. And you especially need to be properly fact-checking, not just falsely saying you are, when you have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. There's been far too many cases of this guy spreading fake news or straight up making stuff up out of desperation for video topics. So with all of those examples of Dreamcastguy being dishonest and straight up spreading fake news, let's get into the reason most of you are here. Dreamcastguy's manipulation and lies surrounding the Austin Evans PS5 controversy. His first video on the situation straight up purposely lies and misleads his audience.
Now, part of the anger about this, I think, comes from Austin Evans himself. This guy's done a bunch of big viral content talking about Microsoft and how much he just thinks it's the best system ever and stuff like that. You can see this is one of his videos looking at the Xbox Series X that has 16 million views. The guy is very heavily an Xbox content creator. Nothing wrong with that, we all have our favorite systems, but I think a lot of people are kind of assuming malice.
There is no way in hell that anyone can look at Austin Evans' channel and think that he's an Xbox guy. His content for the most part revolves around PCs and phones, and there is no way in hell Dreamcast didn't purposely lie about what type of channel Austin has, since let's face it, there is no way in which you can look at this guy's channel and claim it's an Xbox centered channel, and then try to paint him as biased because of that.
But the key conclusion that Austin tried to draw in this video is the fact that it's pretty apparent that this new PlayStation 5 is pushing out more heat. But here's the gigantic thing that's making me just lose my mind. People are apparently saying that this hotter heat somehow is going to cause the PlayStation 5 to melt or break or sometimes just become faulty faster.
And guess what? Austin never made those claims. He said the only time will tell if this does cause issues down the road, which is absolutely correct. He also stated that the higher heat being produced out the back could be because of the fans being more efficient. He also showed that games were not running any worse in that video. This idea you tried to push in your first video is beyond degenerate as well as flat out dishonest.
So I took a look at some experts. This is actually an article over here on VentureBeat. This is a Jeff Grubb write-up.
One eternity later.
Jeff Grubb goes on here in his article to state that, I suppose you can claim that the latest PlayStation 5 model is worse if you're purchasing it as some sort of weird silicone cooling toy, but most people are probably purchasing it to play games, and both the original and revised hardware play the same games with the same performance.
If you somehow manage to do the impossible feat of rubbing two brain cells together to form a coherent thought, you'd realize that this statement doesn't remotely make sense. If something is running hotter than its predecessor, then it's objectively worse. And on top of this, Game & Nexus as well as Digital Foundry revealed the revision actually draws more power, which we'll get into later. The only claim Austin made was that the revision was worse. That is objectively true, and in Austin's video he does say that it's likely the original model was over-engineered, so this weird narrative from Dreamcastguy in reality doesn't make any sense, and saw this as an opportunity to get views while simultaneously defending his favourite piece of plastic. Now the rest of his first video is mainly the same dumbass stuff being repeated, putting words in Austin's mouth that he never said, but for the rest of the video, we will be taking a look at Dreamcastguy's video, where he tries to make it out like Austin Evans was sending his subscribers to attack him, and in it he tells people to kill themselves. So you know, a totally reasonable response to criticism. So without further delay, let's shit all over Dreamcastguy's pathetic attempt to play the victim.
I've done my best not to create any drama videos or even just try and stir things up with other YouTubers.
Well, this video of yours serves as the perfect rebuttal to that statement.
But today, I need to defend myself. What's up, gamers? Dreamcastguy here, and today we need to talk about Austin Evans and what has led to my most hated video ever, which involves the PlayStation 5 revision. Now, in case you don't know it, this guy is called Austin Evans. He is a gigantic tech reviewer. He specializes mostly in like Xbox, Microsoft news, stuff like that.
Even after all the backlash, this guy is still keeping on with the lie about what kind of content Austin makes. He is not an Xbox news channel. He is a tech channel. He covers anything tech related, and although I'm not a fan of his content, he's far from biased towards Xbox like you are repeatedly and heavily implying. Plus, all of the quote-unquote hate you received was valid. You were caught misinforming your audience seemingly on purpose, and instead of admitting to your wrongs, you're continuing to do everything people called you out for.
Well, he did a gigantic viral video talking about the PlayStation 5 revision, and in it, he said that the new PS5, which has a slightly smaller heatsink, is objectively worse.
Which is an objectively true statement to make. The revision is worse, it's just not worse enough to cause issues at the moment. However, there is still a possibility of these consoles having issues down the road, just like the PS3 revisions did.
Now, I made the mistake of just trying to reply to that. I said that the system is pretty much running the same. This new PlayStation 5 that came out, it still plays the same games, it still has the same frame rates, it still has everything else. It's just like 3 degrees hotter. That does not mean it's worse, it just means it's different.
Aw, poor you. I'm so sorry that Austin Evans made a factual statement and didn't sugarcoat his title, and then you didn't just simply reply to it, but straight up lied about him in the video in an attempt to discredit him. I mean, we should all truly feel sorry for poor Dreamcastguy here. Come on guys, why don't you feel sad for him? Is the innocent nerd persona not good enough for you?
Well, Austin Evans, 2 weeks ago, he released a video basically just replying to me.
You serious?
He was not at all replying to you. Not once in the video did he name drop you, and the only thing he did was flash your thumbnail up for about 3 seconds, when showing a bunch of thumbnails of videos trying to call him out. He in no way, shape or form was replying to you. He was replying to everyone trying to call him out, along with the people who allegedly doxed him, plus the harassment he was receiving.
And tried to call me out as just some dumb hater. So see, right here in the video, he shows a bunch of different thumbnails of different people who are calling him out for his very inaccurate video.
Ah yes, the totally inaccurate video which you essentially admitted earlier was correct. The only difference being is that you tried to sugarcoat your statement by saying it was different instead of saying it was worse. The same thing, just one's far more dishonest than the other.
Now, after Austin posted this, I got completely flooded with hate.
What, you gonna cry? No? No, go ahead, cry. Let me see you. Let me see you cry.
Now that idea of yours seems curiously untrue. Nowhere in Austin's video was your title shown, and you were receiving quote-unquote hate, which was for the most part not hate but criticism, well before Austin uploaded his video. Quit the victim mentality bullshit. It doesn't work when the vast majority of people have enough cognitive functionality to see through your terrible acting, as well as terrible ability to manipulate situations.
I mean, bombarded practically to the degrees I've never experienced before. Like, this guy has 5 million subscribers. I've got 200,000.
Fuck right off with that subscriber size argument. You are in no way, shape or form a small channel. This line of argument does not at all work when it's used by channels with hundreds of thousands of subscribers, because in no way are you a bloody victim in this situation like you are desperately trying to make it out to be. However, I'm glad that a large amount of people are seeing through this very poor attempt to spin yet another narrative around this situation.
This dude laser focused his fan base on me.
That is once again a complete lie, as well as yet again an insanely poor attempt to manipulate the situation. There are 7 thumbnails shown in his video of people trying to call him out. None of them are named in the video, and neither are you. For the love of God, stop with this continued pattern of fake news.
By putting my face gigantic in the thumbnail there.
Alright, now I'm actually starting to question whether or not Dreamcastguy has Alzheimer's, because he's the one who made that thumbnail. Austin Evans did not make his face giant in the thumbnail there. Dreamcastguy did. Austin Evans didn't edit the thumbnail. Dreamcastguy did. It's just sad at how utterly pathetic this guy's attempts to spin a narrative are.
And you know what? I can take that. That's part of being a YouTuber. Sometimes somebody bigger punches down on top. It sucked.
I hated some of the stuff people were saying. Some people told me to kill myself. I don't like that kind of talk.
Keep what he says here in mind for later in the video, because it becomes incredibly ironic.
I decided that the best move would be to wait until people who had actual hardware were able to test every single freaking degree and frame and piece of tech of this new PlayStation 5. I wanted to wait until they were able to get their hands on the PS5 revision to see how it's going to work.
Well, people have done that. Digital Foundry has now just produced a gigantic, huge video with Gamers Nexus, where they actually analyze every single facet of the new PlayStation 5 update. Now here's the thing, they've created a total hour of content across their 2 separate channels looking at every single asset, every freaking chip, every freaking piece of this new PlayStation 5. And you know what? I was correct.
No, you weren't. Gamer Nexus and Digital Foundry showed almost exactly what Austin Evans was saying in his video. The only thing they really disagreed on was the long-term effects of the variations between the new PS5 model and the old one. That's it. They absolutely did not prove that you were correct.
Everybody who's claiming I'm just a Sony fanboy or a shill or something like that.
To be honest, anyone looking at your channel would come to the conclusion that you are heavily biased towards PlayStation.
I'm just saying that right now, the original PlayStation 5, this is its cooling unit. It is gigantic. This thing is a behemoth. Now, for good reason. The PlayStation 5 is putting off a lot of heat in general. This system is big, it's powerful, it's trying to play some pretty crazy games that are obviously just 4K and stuff where they can be. So they're trying to basically show shove all that heat directly out of the system itself.
Congratulations, you can comprehend the bare minimum basics of cooling. Unfortunately though, you seemingly can't comprehend anything above the bottom of the barrel when it comes to cooling knowledge, because a smaller heatsink will always cause a system to run hotter. The less surface area heat has to be displaced on, the hotter it will get. That's honestly basic common sense, and I wish I could say I didn't understand why you were trying to argue against it, but let's be real, everyone knows why at this point.
Now, their analysis proves two separate things. One, first and foremost, the system isn't really running that much hotter. Like, if you look at their comparisons, a lot of this stuff, it's essentially the exact same system.
You showed them measuring the wattage of both models, not the temperatures. See kids, this is what happens when people who are completely illiterate in regards to technology try to argue about it. You mistake the symbol for degrees Celsius less Fahrenheit for the symbol of watts. Now how the fuck you do that, even as someone who is illiterate when it comes to technology, is an unanswerable question. It shouldn't even be possible.
Mostly because Sony realizes that you can't have deviation between units. If there was two separate PlayStation 5s on the store shelves, but one was easily and measurably worse, that's going to hurt them. That's not only going to make people not want to buy it, but what about all the freaking stock investors? What about the people that are trying to pitch money into Sony themselves?
Dear God, this video better do well, because I'm currently in mental and physical pain thanks to responding to this truly awful video. All he said in his video was that the new PS5 was outputting more heat, and then it could be due to the smaller heatsink.
Why would Sony put out an objectively worse system?
Because they can. And just because something is objectively worse, that doesn't mean that it's significantly worse. I mean, Sony have done things like this in the past with the PS3. This isn't anything new.
Well, here's the thing, a lot of consoles actually do revisions within the first year. Almost everybody does this. The original Xbox 360 did this. A lot of these systems, what happens is that you make something to be overly safe. It's always very difficult for console designers to try and predict the amount of stress that's going to be put onto their system, because you don't know how many people are going to be trying to cram it under bed.
Or honestly, at that point, there's no games for it. Like, a lot of times, this is a pretty obvious fact that people don't talk about nearly enough. When systems are being designed, there aren't games for it.
Considering how you have previously talked about dev kits in your other fake news video about the PS5 leaker, I find it hard to believe you unironically think that no games are made for systems before they come out. If that was the case, Insomniac would have had to make Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart in mere months, and the same goes for any game on the PS5.
Talking more about this analysis, it's incredibly impressive. It's an hour long. Like, if you watch both their 30-minute videos, their videos are honestly just insanely detailed, to the point which I feel like most people aren't going to care about individual frames or particular projects, but I do find this just to be endlessly fascinating. The fact that they're able to show what it's running at, how many frames it's doing.
And here's the thing, every version of the console is running identically.
And once again, Austin never claimed anything different to that. So why you feel the need to once again put words in his mouth and argue against points he never made is beyond me.
Even as you go into the different revision analysis, everything about it, it is the same exact system. Like, straight up, look, it's the same temperature, it's the same cooling, it's the exact same frame rate.
You've only ever shown the measurement of power draw and frame rate. You haven't shown the measurement of temperature, and the most hilarious part about this is that the new model is worse when it comes to power consumption.
The new PlayStation 5 is not worse. They are identical. They're the same freaking system. You know what? All this freaking console war BS. Everybody trying to act like I'm dumb or defending the console. Look at the analysis. Here is an hour of research.
Next time you want to try and just come into my comment section and say I'm a Sony shill because I think this new system isn't worse just because it has a slightly smaller heatsink, please do me a gigantic favor and take a long walk off a short dock.
Damn bro, for someone who was earlier in the video talking about how he hates people telling others to kill themselves, you sure as hell didn't keep that same energy. So as everyone's favorite PlayStation fanboy says,
Keep that same energy.
Austin Evans, I have no hate towards him. He's probably going to see this video. He kind of strikes me as a guy who Googles his own name like 5 times a day. But here's the thing, Austin Evans, he just saw me as attacking him. I'm not. Your video was wrong. That's okay. I make videos that are incorrect sometimes.
Sometimes is the understatement of the century, and yes, your video was absolutely attacking him. You seem to purposely mislead your audience about the content he makes in order to paint him as just another salty Xbox fanboy, and you straight up attacked his video.
But these are just some random off-the-cuff aggravated thoughts, because this kind of stuff, I get so annoyed when there's like a tiny piece of well-edited misinformation that spreads and spreads and spreads. Own everything, play everything, do whatever you want, but please, the next time you're going to start some next console war BS or try and just throw around stupid titles like Sony Pony, please touch some grass.
ironic.
You and a bunch of PlayStation fanboys made this about the console wars. Austin's video didn't once compare the new PS5 to the Xbox Series X or Series S. You guys made it about the console wars and then tried to pin it on Austin Evans. Now we've finally come to the end of this video as I've covered everything I wanted to. So with all that being said, please don't forget to do all the things YouTubers love to make you to do, aka check out my Discord server, follow me on Twitter, as well as like, comment and subscribe, so I'll see you all in the next video.